think I'll do it. Welcome back, everybody. We haven't been, I haven't done the intro in a while, so welcome to another episode of Cutthroat Research. I'm Ryan, and obviously I'm here with my good friend Tyler. We're coming at you with another wave of information from FFG, our favorite company right now. Tyler, why don't you give me a little recap of everything we're going to talk about today?
Well, we are going to go over a couple things. First, the announcement about Worlds being a team event. They announced that. Then they
Yep.
also announced the new Vault Warrior series of tournaments.
Yes. Yeah, they
And
did. That's going to be
then
awesome.
then today in the Crucible cast, they announced some of the new designs of playmats and future organized play prizes at both local and Vault Tour levels. And if we have some time, we could even touch on some of the things that Richard Garfield talked about in the announcement about Set Three.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I did see a good portion of the live stream yesterday, but not all of it. I think the biggest thing we can start with right out the gate is the prize pool, the new tournament style that they're doing, and now there's going to be cash prizes for topping all three local, regional, and world championship events, right?
Yeah, the local events, the tryouts for the Vault Warriors. The prize won't be a cash prize; it'll be a free entry to the qualifier events, which is, I'm assuming, probably somewhere between like, I don't know, I would probably assume between $25 and $50 value if I'm just spitballing a guess.
Yeah, yeah, probably. I think $25 is right around the standard for most card game entries at a regional level or anything like past a local. So getting a free entry for that is definitely a solid pickup for your local tournament.
The
And
other
then
thing they said during the Q&A portion is that if a local game store that's hosting one of these tryout events wants to spend money to sponsor the winner, like pay for their, I don't know, gas or hotel stay at a qualifier, that the Fantasy Flight will reimburse them at the very least the price of the tryout kit. So depending on how expensive those are, that might be worth it for some local game stores to pass on the savings to the winner and
oh
kind
yeah,
of, so they're not directly sponsoring the people to go to qualifiers other than the free entry, but they have an incentive program for FLGSs to do so.
yeah, they're opening up the opportunity for local stores to get involved with the community, which is great because a lot of card games don't have anything close to that in regards to getting the local store owners and the players themselves like more involved than they already are, and I think this pushes that very well. I think um, it's a good incentive for store owners to, I mean, if they aren't already, some of the smaller stores, not such as Cool Stuff and some of those big names that we know around here, but our local store could maybe start sponsoring people for these big events, like you said, and that, I would have no problem with wearing a Cool Comics t-shirt and a Cool Comics playmat to the venue if I knew that everything I was doing was getting, or some of what I was doing was getting paid for. That all seems great. That almost it makes you feel like a pro. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what a lot of people strive for in card games.
Yeah, and even if it's not at that level, even if your local game store is just like, oh, you got free entry, here's like some money for gas to get there in the
Hmm.
form of like a gift card or something,
Yep.
and then Fantasy Flight reimbursing them for that. That's a pretty good move on their part to keep them where it won't be such a headache to like give a prize to every single local game store, but on a
Yeah.
distributor level, it's kind of easy to reimburse the price of the prize pack out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And at that point, like it feels like uh in some regard it feels like Keyforge is like losing money by giving away product, but if you're going to their big tournament, then they're getting even more money. Like it's literally a win-win for them and the local community. And like we were saying before, I know there's been some bad blood between different members of the Keyforge group lately because of this, but like there's nothing bad that can come from this at all. Like there's only good things, and prize money in its own right is already a huge step forward compared to a lot of other card games. So I think this is the right direction.
Yeah, I think a lot of the community it's a knee jerk reaction to the fact that Like this news was very hyped up, and the really big news might not be applicable to them right away, so they're receiving it as bad news when it's really just neutral news. Like if this doesn't affect you, at worst, this is neutral news. Like this isn't bad news. If anything, if you look at it in a less short-sighted way, this is healthy for the game because it's going to bring, even if you only play casually at local level, this is going to bring players in. I know just me talking to some people I know who play Magic or other card games. I talked about the Vault Warrior qualifiers and championships, and there were at least 3 or 4 people who are like, man, I want to kind of learn how to be good at Keyforge now because this sounds like it might be worth getting into now that they're taking it because the hesitance for a lot of people getting into Keyforge wasn't that they disliked the game. It was that with all the card games that pop up and disappear within a year or two, it was, man, I don't want to get into this game and then it disappear.
Yep. I agree
So now that
completely, and like you were saying, when I started playing, the hardest thing was trying to openly think about the idea that you can't build your deck, and people get past that, and I think in the same way, people are just going to push through this and come to realize that there's no there's no problem with this, and if it doesn't affect you, it sucks, but I'm sure that one day it will affect you. What happens in a year? I mean, Miami, Florida is close for us. I know we're pretty hyped compared to certain people just because of the convenience of location for the World Championships. But, the year after that, it could be in Seattle, Washington on the other side of the country. And then everybody over there who might be griping about that kind of travel and stuff like that, then you guys get the tournament in your neck of the woods. So, I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
I
for
just think
sure.
it's going to even out.
So the Vault Warrior Championships at the local levels, if you win, you'll get a free entry to a qualifiers, which I'm assuming means that anyone can enter qualifiers. It's not like gated by invite.
Yep,
Um,
I think so
and
too.
then the prize breakdown for qualifiers the first place gets 2,500. If you're second place, you get 1,200. If you're in the top 4, you get 750. Top 8 gets 500. Top 16 gets 200, and the rest of the top 32 get $75. And
And that
that's at the
sounds
qualifier level.
amazing.
That's a 10K prize pool.
That's so
And
good. Like,
according to the
why
video, they're going to have
wouldn't you?
10 of those a season to get
Right.
invites to the
And
championship.
a season's
So
just going to be every
what
every year, I
that's if
believe.
assuming they're all different players, that's 320 players minimum for the championship series.
Right, if there's no duplicates.
And that's not counting if they have last chance qualifiers at the event for the championships.
Yeah, and I think they said that they were doing that. I thought in the stream, I remember them
I
talking about
I do
if
remember them saying it, but I don't remember if it was for the Vault Warrior series or if it was for World Championships in general.
Right, okay, gotcha. I thought it was the championships because I think they were mentioning how, like, if people go without teammates and they can go and try to get their invite, and then, between 8-man or
Yeah,
16-man flights or whatever, if you and
and
two other
that's the
people are all
World
just
Champs is the team tournament, not the Vault Warrior Championships.
right. Oh, right. Yeah, I gotcha. So that's what I heard
That
on the
yeah
stream, and they were talking about
that
the flights for that.
and the World Championships is going to be around Minnesota in the Twin Peaks area. They said
Right.
so
And
that's exciting.
but no, I think that's
But
great.
speaking more before we get on to the actual World Championships, speaking about the Vault Warrior tournaments, these will be kind of rotation based. I hesitate to use rotation, but
Yeah, that
it
that there may become a
it
better word
seems
for it.
like the qualifiers are going to be 3-day events
Yep.
where day 1 is the most recent set Archon format. Day 2 is one of the 2 previous sets with Archon format, and day 3 will be a player's choice of any of the decks that they brought for those formats.
Right.
And day 3 will be if you make the top cut for the qualifier.
So basically, on your typical weekend, by the time set 6 is out, then Friday's going to be set 6, Saturday's going to be either set 4 or 5, and then Sunday's going to be 4,
Sun
5, or 6.
or 6, yeah.
Yeah, so those are your options based on what sets are released. And I'm a little upset about the rotation idea. I feel like I'd be diving deeper into the competitive tournaments like this, more so. But the bright side is it's Keyforge, so when a set rotates out, yeah, you might lose a deck that you can't play anymore that you really enjoyed, but being able to enter a tournament for anything going forward still only costs you $10, like at the end of the day.
Yeah, and also people are getting hung up on it, but that's just these tournaments. So that's depending on how long the season is, that's 11 tournaments. I'm assuming if it's not for a year, at the most frequently, I think they could be held as every other, like every
Yeah,
biannually.
6 months. Yeah, I gotcha. I think it would be
Yeah.
every year. It would make sense just to do a year. Like 10 is almost one every month, almost. Like that's a lot of setup and tear down and a lot goes into that in itself. So I think doing that every 6 months, they'd be having them almost every other week, and that might be a little too frequent.
Yeah,
But
I
who
agree. I
knows?
think it will be yearly. So, I mean, you're missing out on 11 tournaments a year if you really want to look at it like I don't want to play anything that might have something like rotation.
Hmm.
And this is also just the upper echelon of competitive tournaments. Like, I kind of expect if you want to play at a level where on the championship series there's $100,000 prize pool. You know, first place is walking away with minimum wage jobs salary.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
Like,
champion finalist, first place is 25K and second place is 12. Like, if you want that money, you're not gonna have enough time to be upset about your set one deck not being playable anymore. You're already hunting for the next best deck that you can play, and that doesn't, you know what I mean? They aren't gonna get hung up on that kind of thing when that amount of money's on the line. So. I think it's going to be great for the game. I think it motivates a lot of players, and honestly, I can't wait to see that whole tournament on stream. Like, I think that's going to be super hype.
well, we're gonna be there.
It's going to be super hype. Well, yeah, we're going to
It's,
be
I
there,
mean,
but like
it's
even all
in
the recap,
Miami.
being able to see everything that we missed, yeah, we will be there for sure. But like being able
Because
to
I mean,
re-experience
the
it.
championship series, it looks like it's a 4 day event. Oh yeah, it says right here. I'm sorry, it does have last chance qualifiers. Day 1 and 2 will be side events and last chance qualifiers. So Thursday and Friday, I'm assuming, and then day 3 will be the main event alongside a vault tour. So if you don't qualify for the Vault Warrior Championships, you'll still be able to play in a vault tour.
Right.
And then the
Yeah,
final
so
day
that was
is
what
your
I was
top
saying.
cut.
Perfect. So everything I
And
said
actually,
earlier
it
actually
says
applies. I wasn't wrong.
And actually, it says here day 4 will be another vault tour. Oh no, that's the same vault tour. Obviously, it'll be a day 2. My
Yeah,
mistake.
it's all good.
But so if you already make the main event, you don't even have to go on Thursday and Friday unless you want to play in the side events or hang out in Miami.
Yeah, definitely.
And then main event and your top cut for day 3 and 4. And I mean, you're talking about the prize breakdown we had for the qualifiers. It's 10 times that for the championship. So even just
Yep.
top 32ing, you're getting 750 cash at the end of that event. That's wild.
Yeah, yeah, that's actually like super crazy. Like that's so
And
much money. So many other card games. Like Magic does that. Pokemon does like scholarships and like things, but Yu-Gi-Oh, even some of the ones that died out recently, Forza Will, this new Argent Saga game. Like I haven't heard about anything big, you know. I haven't heard about anything this hype with this game only being out for the time it's been. Like this is a solid and reassuring milestone, like to such a high degree.
yeah, it's really refreshing to see a game that's going into its 11th month alive put so much backing behind what their product. They're taking it seriously. They want us to know they're taking it seriously.
Hmm.
And it's a huge announcement. Honestly, I don't know. Even if I was never going to go to a tournament or travel for a tournament, this would still be good news to me because you're going to get the trickle down of people who want to play now. You're going to get people at your locals asking like, "Hey, what's this whole thing about? Like, I heard I can win a lot of money if I get good at this," and or even just in a less competitive mindset way, even people who want to play casually now know that their investment is protected for the foreseeable future. Like their decks won't just be useless in a couple months if the game like just disappeared.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the biggest point to drive home about this announcement is that like things are just pushing forward in such a great manner. I know we had some other announcements too. You were talking about a Crucible cast that was aired today that I missed. Um, do you wanna go over some of that, or do
Yes.
you have anything else you wanted to talk about regarding the Vault Tour Championships?
I mean, we could talk real quick about the World Championship as well. They did announce that besides, top four in Grand Championships get an invite to Worlds, and the winner of the Prime Championships, that we haven't had any of those yet, but they also get an invite to Worlds. They did finally announce that the top 100 on the Vault Tour leaderboards will also receive an invite to Worlds,
Yeah,
and
you're
that
still up there,
Worlds
aren't you?
this year is. I'm sorry?
You're still up there in that ranking, aren't you?
Oh no, I'm now 200 and something, 230.
Oh, damn.
But I mean, I feel like if I just day two another Vault Tour, it
Yeah,
might
you'll shoot
push me
right
right
back up.
back up there.
Mm-hmm.
But the World Championship will be a team event where only one member of your team needs an invite, which is
Yes.
also pretty neat. So you get 3-man teams. If you got, it's worth it.
We need one
That
more
that
teammate,
sounds like a
Tyler.
really fun time. I know if one of us gets in, we're taking applications for the third
Yo,
person.
yeah. Absolutely. We'll figure it out as we go, I guess. I don't know.
And I
How
mean,
you?
we go
Go
on.
ahead. No, you're good. Good.
I was saying we've seen that at Grand Championships, you get the really cool deck that say Grand Champion in the title. We haven't seen any prizes for Prime Championships other than the really cool playmats that they previewed already, but we'll see on those. So I can only imagine World Championships, you got to get some pretty cool prizes, man.
Yeah, yeah. Whatever they come up with, they have a year to figure out and then produce the prize support for that tournament. So I'm sure there's a lot of brain power going into that. I'm excited for team tournaments. I think them doing that at Worlds is pretty cool. I know that is another thing that I'm sure some people have been kind of upset about, but you really should uh, find people that you can play with and play test with consistently, and those people will probably grow to become the teammates you want anyway. But we have so many people at our locals now. I mean, there's like we've been having like 10, 12 people tournaments, which doesn't sound like a lot, but compared to the 6 or 8 it was a month or two ago, it's almost doubled in size. So now it's like, oh, there's even more people, and hopefully there's even more invites that we can get for everybody. So as much of our local area can go to that tournament because Miami's not that far away. I'm sure most of those people would want to go and attend.
Yeah, I have a feeling that even, yeah, well, I mean, the Miami one, don't forget, is also the Vault Warrior Championships, not the World Championships. But I feel like the one in Miami, I think we're probably all going to end up going to, if not most of us, because you're
Yeah.
talking
Oh,
about
I
a
had him. I had him
two
mixed up. Yeah,
two
you
and a
said the
half
other
hour
one was
drive.
in Michigan. Yeah, 2 hours. Yeah. So even that one, and that's the 3-day tournament too. So
So
that's gonna be good.
that's it's going to be a fun time, even if we don't already have an invite to the championships. Well, I mean, worst case scenario, we go do a couple last chance qualifiers and then play in a vault tour. And even if that's all we end up doing, that's still a good time, good way to kill a
Yeah.
weekend.
That's still a solid weekend, like you said, for just going down there. Like regardless of how well we do, I'm just excited to go at this point. Like I'm pumped.
Yeah. So on top of all of these really cool news about these big organized play events, the Crucible cast today, they had some organized play coordinators on there talking about the future prize stuff, like just at local level, at Voltor prize walls. They had a couple employees on there talking about things in the woodworks. They showed off a couple playmats. I believe one of them was a Vault Tour prize, a prize wall playmat, which is a
Okay,
Christmas sweater themed playmat.
that sounds so cool.
Yeah, it like has a pattern like you would see on a Christmas sweater, and
Yeah,
it's teal and it's all Saurian, so it's like the helix fossils and little dinosaurs. And I'm kind of hoping they do one for each house.
for Christmas, that would be
Yeah,
pretty
like
cool.
maybe we get like it could even just be the current houses, like sorry Sanctum and Mars, but it would be cool to have like at least a couple different options, maybe not just Saurian, although I do really like the teal playmat. It's probably my favorite playmat I've seen so far.
Yeah, yeah, I can't wait to see it. I know we couldn't find a link of it earlier, but that's gonna be awesome too. Yeah, I want to see more. I want to see more holiday playmats as we go forward too. I know we mentioned before like holiday items and giveaways and prize support and stuff all seems pretty cool, and this seems like the first sign of that. Unfortunately, it seemed like nothing's really happening special for Halloween, but I'm sure Christmas. I mean, Christmas is definitely a bigger holiday if you want to get statistics into it. But seeing how this goes, I'm sure throughout next year and throughout all these big events, there definitely should be more of these cool, unique items for the seasonal events and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. They also previewed just a Saurian themed playmat in general, and that's if you're on the Fantasy Flight announcement of the Vault Warrior series, there's a picture that they've used a few times at the bottom with the Saurian general pointing like towards the phalanx of a bunch of army people. That's the playmat. It's
Right, so
like
it's gonna be
the
that
T-Rex
image.
looking guy with the yeah, it's that image on the playmat, and that looks pretty good. That's going to be in premium organized play kits.
Yep.
So similarly to the Sanctum and Mars playmats, it'll be that playmat coming up soon at locals.
Okay, so that'll
So
be
that's
that,
exciting on top of the leaderboards. Like we just keep getting more prizes for local events for the casual players who some of them feel like they didn't get anything, but I feel like there's a lot to be excited about at a local event structure.
yeah, I mean, and that's just local. The local announcements from this week aren't even the only local announcements coming out. Like leaderboards is starting, like you said. There's gonna be the new prize support locally for the leaderboards when that happens. So new playmats, new leaderboards, new other prizes. Like the, I don't know what more you expect Fantasy Flight to do for you. Like if you're playing at a local level, you're only spending a few bucks in gas. Like you're not traveling, you're not like not that you should be, but like that's significant for being a local player. The amount of like cool, interesting prizes you can get uh just for doing well at your LGS.
They did say that local prize support kits would also start coming with vinyl figures. They'll be, I think they said it'll be about 3-inch tall vinyl figures of characters in Keyforge. And if I understood what they were saying correctly, the stands that they come on are keys that you can use as your keys for. So if you collect all three for the season, you have the complete red, blue, yellow key set as well. And the figure that they previewed the 3D rendering of was Dusk Runner.
Okay, gotcha. That's pretty cool. I think that's great. Like I think it feels kind of it feels like a step in the tabletop direction, having like actual figurines, but I mean aesthetically I understand it. Like who wouldn't want to use that as their keys, or if they even come out, I'm sure they'll come out with more like interesting or more new amber and stuff like that. So um yeah, it seems cool.
It's just
It's
cool to have
straightforward prize
collectibles. Like
support.
on top of these at the local level, they said that that fuzzy Gruen plushie that's been in the background of some of their videos will be available at the prize wall, and
That's
that they're
cool.
working on other plush series to give away at vault tours and
I
stuff
love how
like
like
that.
everything that they want to sell is just like, no, go to the prize wall. Just don't
Yeah.
give me your money. Just go get it from there.
Which also I'm hoping that they did say that there will only be prize walls at vault tours. The Vault Warrior series will not have a prize wall, as it's
That's
they want to
super
keep the prize wall
disappointing.
more of yeah they want to keep the prize wall more of a Vault Tour exclusive type thing. But that being said, at the Vault Warrior Championship, there is a Vault Tour going on side by side with it. So I'm assuming there will be a prize wall there.
Right, so yeah, if you
Just the
go somewhere where there's only a
qualifiers.
Vault Warrior event and there's no Vault Tour event, then you'd be out of luck, I guess. But it seems like they're
Yeah.
trying
But
to put Vault Tours into the Vault Warrior events as backup plans for players. So we'll see.
yeah.
I don't think it's going to be too
Uh,
problematic.
no, and I don't think I know some people worried about a split in the community. I don't think that this needs to create a huge divide. I think it's just healthy. Like we have, at the most casual level, if you just want to go get some amber shards and play at your local event, you have 2 tournaments a week. You can win amber shards with special prizes now for doing well as special prizes just for going, and they're making new prizes.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
then on top of that, if you do end up doing pretty well at a bunch of locals, you could go to a vault tour, to even if you're not trying to be super competitive about it. You could trade in your shards for some cool stuff
Yeah. I
and
mean,
have
anybody
fun at
would
the vault tour.
anybody would enjoy just getting out of town for the weekend and playing a bunch of Keyforge. Not everybody goes even to like other card games. Some people go to big events for the sake of the experience rather than the tournament itself. You know what I mean? So I'm sure that's going to happen in this game as well. There's plenty of people who know that they're going there, and some of them are going to play and maybe not expect to do well. Other people are going to just play low-rated decks to challenge themselves, like that one guy did do top 16. So we're going to see a big variety, but I think like you said, that there's nothing bad that comes from this, so it's going to be helpful and beneficial to everybody. I'm excited to use my Amber Shards at a prize wall, though. I really hope there's one in
Oh,
Miami.
I have way too many Amber Shards.
I
I need
believe
to
it.
spend some. But yeah, so these big tournaments are going to be huge deals. Something I'm actually even more excited to talk about during the live cast. Richard Garfield talked about procedurally generated cards, and that some were
Yep.
in set three. And we discussed it briefly, but he gave a couple examples, and just talking about those, I got excited for other things that might come.
Right.
So
I remember.
one of the examples he gave was called the Cultural Exchange Officer, and it's a Star Alliance creature. And according to Richard Garfield, when it is in your deck, it switches places with a creature from a different house, essentially making two Mavericks in your deck. So say you get this in your deck with a Philosophosaurus. Philosophosaurus becomes Star Alliance, and the Cultural Exchange Officer becomes Saurian.
So the algorithm, first off, is going to determine if that card is in your deck, the exchange officer, and then if it is, it's going to pick a random other card from your deck to trade places with, thus diversifying like the synergies of decks further and adding more of the RNG that at this point, if you don't like it, you probably shouldn't be playing Keyforge. But the RNG that we've all learned to love. I think it's cool. I think that gives them a whole nother level. It's like a Maverick as a card, and the same thing could happen with like legacies. Like I don't know how, but I'm sure there's a way that they could manipulate like a legacy like print of a card or like a reprint with a similar effect kind of deal too down the road.
Yeah, I think that that's super interesting. And then the other example he gave, while he didn't say what the card itself did, there's a Brobnar card called the Brew, and when it's in your deck, a random creature in your deck gets +2 power.
See that makes me feel like that makes me feel like it's like super like Hearthstone-y. That gives me a very Hearthstone-y feel when I try to think that through.
I'm all for it. Anything that just like makes things more, I guess, less rigid and more
Undetermined.
fluid.
Yeah, well, it
Yeah,
makes it
it
makes
just
everything left
feels fun.
unknown. It adds more like I said, more diversity to the decks, but it just like as long as there's no as long as there's no indicator of what card is being affected by it in your deck, then like your opponent looks at your deck list and doesn't realize your Titan mechanic's actually a 7 power creature until they see it, you know what I mean? Or something like that. Like that's going to that's gonna change a lot for people's playstyle a little bit, I guess, but I think it's really cool. Like there's nothing else I can say about it. I think it's really cool, and I think it gives the Hearthstone experience for trying to add like a new level of RNG to a paper card game, which is really hard to do. Like the things that happen in Hearthstone literally just can't happen in card games a lot of the time, if not always.
Yeah,
Like Death Rattle.
I'm all for it.
I
I
think it's
think
great.
it's very cool, very
Agreed.
fun, and I actually kind of I'm at a point where I don't know if I'd rather it be marked on your deck list card, so
Or
that you
not.
don't have to open the deck to see where it is, or not, so
Yeah.
that you do have to open the deck to see where it is.
Right. I'm interested to see how that's
Um,
gonna turn out.
I'm also interested just to see what other kind of procedurally generated cards there are. Just like that's very cool that they have things in place that change not only depending on what deck you have, but depending on what else is in the deck with them.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's really cool. And I think it's hard for other card games to compete with that. Like that elicits like an emotion that you can't get from other card games when you see that happen. Like when you pull the deck, when you play the deck, you're just like, man, like this what are the chances that this one card is going to affect that one card and it could literally just break your deck. Like I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see like the first deck that sells secondhand for like 2 grand because they got a crazy Maverick procedurally generated combo that just may not be super competitive, but is like cool enough that where people want it.
Yeah, it's the most like fulfilling feeling when it goes off for you.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that might be just about everything that's super exciting happening right now. I know that I'm currently uploading the video that has the games from our last week's Chainbound event where I played with my 15 chain deck. I kind of go over the efficacy of chains in that video while during my commentary of it. And we're going to be recording some more gameplay hopefully today if we're able to at our local Chainbound event and get some more gameplay videos up on the channel.
Sounds very dope.
We are still in preparation for our store championship, which is happening next Saturday. Are you excited?
I'm excited that I just bought that deck last night.
Yeah, Ryan did just get a pretty sweet deck last night. If anyone want to check it out, just because you might be a little curious, I think I have the name of it right here. It's still in our
tab still open.
Chat message.
It is
called... War Master Granbury.
Yeah, War Master Granbury. It's an 89 SAS, and surprisingly, there's 70 AERC. I did play like 3 or 4 games with it yesterday. I only won one of them, but two of the games were against a 98, and the other 2 were against a 93.
Did you play Danny's new decks?
Yeah, I played Danny's deck twice, and then I played Floyd's deck twice.
How
but
impressive did Spy Smith feel?
What's up?
How oppressive did that deck Spy Smith? Is that its name, the 98?
Yeah, that deck is destructively problematic. Like, every turn felt like an uphill battle from turn 1, like every time. Like, no matter what. Like, he'd go first, and then I'd go, and then his turn after that would be like, well, I literally lose now, because if I don't answer that, I just don't get to gain Ember. It was really rough.
If you guys want to check that out, too, one of our friends pulled a deck. Its name is Spy Smith. Yep. And it seems like a pretty powerful deck. Like,
it is
Vault Tour winning type deck.
Yeah, it has the most insane shadows I've ever seen. 78 AERC, 98 SAS. It's just ridiculous. But check
Doesn't
that
it have
out.
4 routine jobs?
No, it has 2, but it has Fagin and 2 Urchins as well.
I thought it had 4 routine jobs.
No.
You know what? I could pull it up right now.
It's got 3 Mind Warpers, 2 Ember Imps, 2 Schulers, a Bait and Switch, Nerve Blast,
Are you looking
Relentless
at it right
Whispers. Now? Yeah. The Shadow Self in there gets me, dude. Like, that one Shadow Self, like, protects so much in his deck. Like,
I'm not excited to have to play against that at the store championships.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I'm assuming he's playing it.
I would be extremely surprised if he didn't. That's going to be so annoying.
Like, he always says, like, he has the worst luck with decks, but he has this and, like, the 5 control the weak deck.
Yeah.
I should say triple control the weak, double control.
Like,
he's got some pretty killer stuff.
He probably has only a few more.
But yeah, we're preparing for the store championship. We're gonna have a good time. These announcements just have me hyped to play Keyforge, and we're getting ready to go to our locals, and hopefully we'll have 13 people like last week.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That would be pretty sweet. But if they don't come up this week, that means we just get to edge them on and be like, hey, you better come next week. There's a problem if you don't come next week. Because that's the store championship, so that's what matters.
I'm hoping our store championships, I don't think it's ridiculous, but I would hope for like 20 or more people. And I think we have, at this point, a community of at least that many players.
Yeah, we have enough players for that. If they all show up is another question. But I think there's a chance, so that's enough for me to want to hope.
But I think that's it for us, guys. Until next Saturday.
For sure.
Or the next video.
Also, full disclosure, I know this should have been at the beginning, but this one recording is the first time we did not record from the same place at the same time. So if there's any issues with the recording, or if you hear any problems or anything sounds weird, let us know so we can try to make sure that this quality is a little better too, in case we have to do these from separate locations. But yeah, that's it. Just wanted to throw that out there. Get some feedback.
Yeah. So you guys have a good rest of your week.
Everyone take
Leave
care.
us any comments, likes, subscribes, all that good YouTube stuff, and
Yeah,
we
YouTube
will
stuff.
see you on the next one.
Next Saturday. Later.